Hey, this is Professor Homa. Happy New Year to everyone, and welcome to CSC 230. I'm going to review PIXLR, kind of a web image editing tool, just a little bit. I'm just going to open up an image, crop it, resize it, save it as a JPEG, and we're going to use it as our home page in Blackboard, and then also for one of our first web pages we'll have you throw a picture, and this will be of you, not of me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to PIXLR.com. Up here it's PIXLR.com, and I had assumed that you had to log in, but I'm not logged in right now, and I think it'll still work. But if you want to set up an account for PIXLR, it might have some benefits to that. And you'll have three choices down here at the bottom. I'm going to use the web app. That's the one that's very much like Photoshop. So I'm going to launch the web app by just clicking down here, and it runs in some kind of flash interface. And it gives you a choice here: create a new image, open image from computer. And I'm going to choose Open Image from Computer. And I'm going to open an image. I have a photo here from the summer of me and my wife. I don't have a lot of pictures of me, but that's one with me in it. So I'll try to take a little headshot from that image, and there it is. And just like in Photoshop, I could zoom in, zoom out. I'm just using my mouse, scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in and zoom out. And what I'm going to do, a lot of the menu commands are similar to Photoshop. They're not exact, but they're similar. What I'm going to do is use the Marquee Tool, which is right here below the crop tool, and I like to use the Marquee Tool to just set an area and then crop it after the fact. So I'm going to make an area here. It may not be perfect, but I'll just select an area around my head here, even bigger than I need. And remember, if you need to move this around, put your mouse inside the marquee area to remove that. And that's what I'll do at the start. And I'm just going to crop it, and I'll go over here to the menu where it says Image, and I'll go to the bottom of the menu and do Image Crop. Okay, so there's just my headshot. I'll zoom in by just scrolling my mouse wheel, and there it is. And I have a little bit of my wife's hair in here, which I'm going to crop out a little bit more. Now, just to show you the other crop tool, you could use this other crop tool, which kind of makes a box. It's kind of like in iPhoto has this kind of thing where you have like a grid. And I'm going to just crop out a little bit more and move it up a little, take a little less of my shirt off of here, but that's fine. I'm not worried about the size, I'm just worried about the proportion. And that's fine right now, and if I just hit return, it'll crop it. So either way, whether you use the marquee or the crop tool, it's cropped right now, and I might even want to crop a little bit more, and I could use the marquee again. I think I'll go take a little bit of the leaves off the top, a little bit of the hair off, and I'll just do image crop one more time. Image crop. Okay, so there it is. And I'll crop a little bit off the side. One more time, image crop. Okay, and that's fine for a headshot for a web page. And keep in mind that this editor does have image adjustments. You could go into do levels, adjust them. Actually, this image is pretty good, but you could lighten it up a little bit, lighten up the midtones just a little bit if you wanted to. And I'll hit OK. You could sharpen it if you want, but I'm not going to sharpen it yet, because I need to resize it. I'm going to go to Image, Image Size, and I want this about around 150 pixels. It's around 370, which is way too big for what we're going to use it for. I'll put in 150, and it's going to constrain, so it'll be a little longer than 150, but that's okay. And I'll hit OK, and there it is. That's not, if I do Command 0 or Control 0, it'll put it 100%. So that's about 100%. And I think I am even going to crop it one more time. Take just a little bit off the top and bottom. And I'll do one more crop, image crop, and then I'll be ready to save it. Now to save it, just like in Photoshop, I'll just do File, Save. And you can give it a name, and I'll just call it Sample Pic. And you don't have to put in the .jpeg, it'll put it in for you. And 80 is a good setting for that. And I'll hit OK. And it'll go to where I'm going to save it. So it's going right to that same directory that I have. It's called Sample Pic. And I'll hit Save. And that's it. I could close this up. I don't really have to save this anymore. And it says you want to save this image, and you can work with layers. I'll do more with PIXLR in here, but just for a real basic thing, that's a good start. I'm not going to bother saving this. And you could close out of this. And you could just go back to the page you're on, back to the home page again for PIXLR. So, and there's a lot of sites you could go to learn more about working in PIXLR, and there's support and things you could download. But just for a start, that's what we're going to do in the beginning. So you're going to be able to, you're going to put a photo on your home page and on your web page, but that's how, if you need to edit it and you need to get a little headshot that's 150 pixels, that's the way you'll do it with PIXLR.